Welcome everybody to ProBots, and welcome to day 6. Our round of 8 is just about to begin. Ender Sword has come back from fighting crime or running a marathon. One of those
Something.
two.
Yeah, I'm
Something exciting.
either a guardian of the galaxy or my calf muscles hurt. One of those.
It can't be
But
both.
it probably is both. It could be a little column A, a little column B. But
Well, hopefully you're ready for some StarCraft action, some bots.
I am quite ready. Quite
Excellent.
ready for our round of 8 bracket, our awesome single elimination bracket of death. No
It
second
looks
chances here.
awesome.
Yes.
Look at all these bots. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
A bunch of letters, some capitalized, some not. One number.
A number?
Like just a mix in the 3. We got
gotcha.
Octopus V3. So nice mix. But yeah, these are good matchups. We've got a mix of a couple of the newer bots and actually 3 of the kind of newer bots. And then the rest we've kind of seen almost since the beginning of time, Micro Machine and Tier. So yeah, this is a pretty good one. And I don't know with any certainty what the outcome is going to be, even though I claim to in the bracket that I made.
Which hopefully you all made one as well. Those prediction brackets, I hope, are still open. I don't think they've been closed yet. I was going to say we shouldn't close them until the first match starts. Yeah. So if you go real fast, fill one out, do a prediction bracket. We're going to talk about them here just for a minute while we get things ready for our round of 8. Hopefully you're all excited. Thank you all once again for being here at ProBots. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, get us a little bit of visibility so everybody else can come watch this excellent round of 8. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some of these predictions.
So this one appears to be made by Ketchrock. Mr. Ketchrock, the human, not the bot, but obviously the bot part of it. But he's got Eris over Octopus, V3. Then himself over Kani. We've got him picking Sharkbot over Xena. This one throughout the brackets I've seen is one of the most volatile, whether people pick Sharkbot or Xena. And then Micro Machine over Tier. He's got Micro Machine advancing. And then he predicts himself to lose against Eris. Presumably he probably knows how that's going to play out.
Before you move on from that one, that's if that happens, we have never on ProBot seen an Eris Ketchrock matchup. We've dreamt about it. We've talked about it. We've been very close to it. But we've never actually had these two. At least I hope I'm not just spewing steam here. I am pretty sure we've never actually seen Eris.
I don't recall one either. I don't recall one either. It could be a really, really good one because of how they both play. Like they both play towards late game, higher tech stuff. So I think that's going to be really interesting if we do end up getting that matchup. And then
different prediction.
The next one. We've got, so this one seems to be done by Yada Hunt. Again, we got Eris over Octopus. This time, Kani over Ketchrock. Kani is definitely one that's massively improved over the first, basically the first time we saw him. And then here we got, again, Xena going over Sharkbot. This one seemed to flip on a lot of people's brackets. And Tier edging out Micro Machine.
Now, that one I'm really excited for. That's going to be our final matchup of today. And keep in mind, each one of these matchups today, we're going to see the 4 best of 3s on the left there.
Yeah, and
Micro Machine and Tier is going to be awesome. What?
Yeah. It goes for Xena as the ultimate winner here instead of Eris. I think in our brackets, the most picked is Eris, but everyone has 7 out of the 8 have been picked by somebody to be the winner, except for Micro Machine.
Oh, no love for Micro Machine.
Yet, but everyone now sometimes I think by the bot maker themselves has picked themselves as the winner. But here we got Rasper going for, this would be like the upset of the year right off the bat if Octopus takes out Eris. Then we've got Ketchrock beating Kani, Xena beating Sharkbot, and Tier beating Micro Machine, with the ultimate winner of the tournament being Octopus. So that would be the upset.
That's the Royal Rotor scenario, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, Octopuses are the only brand new bot still in the tournament, and he's made it all the way to the round of 8. And I've seen some pretty cool stuff. I've actually been watching him. It's going to be our first matchup here, actually. and I've seen a few of its games on the AI Arena stream. Go check that out on Twitch. I think it's just AI Arena stream, something like that. But it's really cool. Bot action 24/7. You can see bots like Octopus, Ketchrock, Micro Machine, all of them play, and I'm excited to see what Octopus is going to bring onto the into the game here. I believe he's Protoss, right?
Yes.
Yep, he's a Protoss bot in Python.
Exactly.
So should be good. What do you think? What did you predict, Endersword? Eris or Octopus?
I did predict Eris. I think that's and I did predict Eris to win the whole thing. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, to be a stunning upset if Octopus does do it. But if I'm remembering how Octopus has played in a few games, it's been going to carriers and late game stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I've seen on the Twitch stream.
There's a way that you may end up being Eris. It's something like that, maybe. I think
late game.
Yeah, well, I think there's two key. Either Eris is very, very greedy early and you punish it, is one way we've seen Eris lose. But going with like mass carrier could be something that is just overwhelming enough that Eris loses. But yeah, well, we'll see here in a moment.
We'll have to see. Thank you all once again for tuning in to our round of 8 here on ProBots. Once again, make sure you hit that thumbs up if you've just joined us. Get us a little bit more visibility on YouTube. And check out all the links below me as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about all those as we get into these games. There was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh, yeah, the prediction brackets. Hopefully you all finished it. If you were scrambling. We're about to close that. So
yeah, 3 more have come in while we've been talking.
More?
So if you're ready, get them done now.
I'm done. I'm going to buy you all 10 more seconds here until we're going to probably wrap that up. Maybe he'll give you a little bit into the first game. We'll see what happens. But thank you all once again for being here. Let's go ahead and hop into our first best of 3 Eris versus Octopus here on ProBots. Let's go.
Team Eris's.
Eris.
Takados.
Octopus B3. Hey, Undersword.
Yo.
I just made a bot recently.
Did you? What's it do?
Absolutely nothing. It does load into the game and mine minerals, as that is what it is preloaded to do.
Ooh.
And if you, in the audience, are interested in making your own bot, make sure you check out that. I think it's the first link below me. You can download a template to make your own Terran bot, essentially. And it will mine minerals, and there's a little script where you tell it what to do, and you can get on the ladder and start participating in ProBots and all sorts of other cool things. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there in case anybody was interested in making a bot and joining the scene. Make sure you go check out aiarena.net. That's where you're going to really get signed up and get started. But anyway, that's all.
You could just make a pacifist bot like that. It just mines minerals.
It just mines minerals.
Yeah. Just tries to stay alive and live its best life.
That's one way to play the game. There's also actually a micro ladder as well I wanted to mention. So if you just want to do something really simple to start, that's where I'm going to start. And Drek actually just made his own first bot, and that's where he's going to start. And it's just a small little group of units that you just tell to attack. That's it. It's a great, simple way to get started, and you should definitely all check it out if you're interested in that. All right, Endersword, tell me about Royal Blood. What's going on here?
Well, we see that lovely royal blue banner, but we see a probe that's just been freaking out there for the entire opening for basically 2 minutes. So I don't know. Yeah, does he intend to put a Nexus down here? Has he bugged out or something? He looks like he's building up for a Nexus, but he's been there for like over a minute for sure.
So yeah, he was definitely waiting, but he also could have it that way in case the other bot is trying to do a hatchery block or something, a pylon block even, something like that. We do see the bots do cheeky things like that sometimes. So not a bad way to go about it.
He's got a weird wall there up front because it's not it's almost like an open doorway, or like, you know, those things that like
oh yeah,
like the screens that slide open. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
He's not really covering the space, but it's kind of going to funnel them in one direction.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I don't think Eris is going to have too much of a problem with that, though. Eris is really really, what's the word I'm looking for? It waits to pick the right fight.
Yeah.
It's really good at picking the right moment to go in. It's not, just a small group of units that's going to get overwhelmed. It's going to wait till it has overwhelming numbers.
Yeah, for
Usually.
sure.
It's definitely a little more passive in that sense. Huh?
Yeah, definitely not known for early aggression, for sure. Tends to do what we're seeing, which is kind of this 3-base build-up, and then kind of tech up into a later part of the game. Usually just trying to defend with roaches and lings. There's usually a point where Eris maxes out with roaches, and that's when the big attack is almost him dumping supply to then make room for the other stuff, which is something humans often do as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but we see that Octopus has built a Stargate, and we're all getting that fleet beacon.
Yeah, I think you were right in predicting carriers. I think we're going to see carriers right off the bat, and 2-base carriers could be a way to potentially catch Eris off guard. It all depends on what Eris scouts and what Eris decides to do. Now, Eris is a very reactive bot, and I believe it will change its build order and kind of what it's doing based on what it scouts. So we should see Hydras or something soon, right?
Yeah, for sure. Didn't see it. Usually does get one, but tends to then hold off on actually making them until it sees some reason to.
Yeah.
And we got a Void Ray coming out there.
Oh, interesting. So not straight to carriers.
Yeah, not straight to carriers, but the fact that there was a fleet beacon, it could also be Tempest. That Tempest are still quite good, and we're getting Oracle here. I never find it promise. I won't say that I don't like seeing the Oracle. I do like seeing the Oracle. I don't think it's promising. That is all.
Yeah, it doesn't usually work well. If you've ever watched ProBots, you have potentially seen, I think 2 bots have used an Oracle. Sharkbot is one of them. And I feel like one other Protoss bot tried it. Maybe it was Tyr or somebody. But it just doesn't work for anything most of the time. Every now and then it'll get a stasis off in the mineral patch.
It is a carrier.
Something.
Yeah,
the carriers. Okay.
What it could be good for is like the vision spotting.
Yeah, I do see them do Revelation a lot. So, and that's totally acceptable. If you just build oracles for Revelation, I think that's totally fine. Yeah. I think that's a good use of Oracle because you can keep track of, especially as a bot, you can really keep track of unit movement and what's going on because Eris is really active despite being so seemingly passive. That's what you're seeing now is the lings poking and prodding, scouting. You're constantly seeing overlords spread across the map. It's incredible map vision for Eris right now. So yeah, I'm liking Eris's position. I'll be honest.
It's definitely taken a big portion of the map, but it's giving some of this time. Although it looks like we're getting a split path. We got an Oracle, a Void Ray, a Carrier, and a Tempest so far.
The holy four of the Stargate there, going for a little bit of everything.
It sounds like the start of like a Protoss joke.
A Tempest, a Carrier, Void Ray, and an Oracle walk into a fleet beacon.
Yeah, maybe walk out of a Stargate.
Walk out of a Stargate,
something like that.
That's the joke. But there's the Hydras. Okay, I knew Hydras were going to be on the way. There's 9 in production at a time. More to come. Even an infestation pit on the way, so we might even see infestors. We've got a Spire. We're just going into overdrive as Eris, which you can do because there's what now a 5th base on the way for Eris. So this is looking really nice. Great run by here.
There's everything on the way. If you look at the production tab, just everything is on the way.
Just everything.
And yeah, this 3rd base, he's not yet confident enough to try and defend this. So all the probes go down. The base itself does still stand, but we're at 92 drones to only 50 probes. And obviously what Octopus is trying to do is expensive.
Very expensive. But there are still 2.5 bases mining and 2 carriers on the way at a time. I guess the real hope for Octopus is just to get that Golden Armada, right? That death ball that Eris just can't get close enough to take out. The Hydras get killed a little too quick. I gotta say, these Oracles are doing a great job at staying alive.
Yeah,
they're just revelating. Key. They're staying alive. That's important. I think that's okay.
It's better than a lot of Oracles that we see do, which just fly into the mineral line and die.
Yeah, most of them just die immediately.
A lot of them just die to Queens right away. This Void Ray is being very brave.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It targets the Overseer, so I wonder if they're... I could see you doing that if you're doing a Dark Templar build or something, but what's the point in killing the Overseers? I don't know. Maybe so you have high ground vision or something. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, they're really just targeting the Overseers. It's really interesting.
Yeah, here the Hydras, there's certainly enough here to take this out, but they're not doing that. They're going after the base instead, while a lot of these Interceptors just kind of shoot them down a lot. So this base will fall, but really this entire air army could have fell, and the Hydras just aren't really focusing on that. But now with the Queen support, is this going to be enough carrier? The Tempests are kind of useless, but is this enough Interceptors to take them out? And a lot of those have died.
There's no transfuse available as the Queens are off creep, so yes, I think these Interceptors might just hold. I don't know. This is really close. There's a great little Zealot wall with some shield batteries buying a ton of time. Eris throwing just endless Zerglings at this. I don't know if Octopus can hold or not here. We're just going to have to see.
The Corruptor follow-up is not really the best here. More Hydras just probably would have been better, as they're better at taking out the Interceptors themselves, which is what's really doing DPS to the Lings. And yeah, he's holding well. That formation on the wall that eventually did become a wall is pretty good, and he's going to have to back up. But he is on two bases. This is pretty expensive army. None of the carriers, and I don't think any of the Tempests died.
His unit control's been great.
Quite low, but they are going to be able to build the Interceptor count back up. Yeah. So yeah, 26 Interceptors died, but none of the actual ships did.
Fine.
Yeah, that'll do. And he is continuing to make carriers and Interceptors behind this. But is he ever going to get a third base established again? It looks like Creep has actually taken over the positions that he needs to put it, and I don't know that he has anything to actually push that back. We got a mothership starting now too.
Does he have Oracles? So you could revelate some tumors.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of properties now. And then this.
Oh, and he's stealing the carriers. Oh no. Well, it was looking like a pretty good hold until the Zerg just decided, hey, this is my army now too.
Yeah,
and that's going to pretty much do it.
It's the advantage he had for a brief window there was that the switch into the Spire was actually halted by the fact that Eris was already at max supply. As soon as that army completely died at this gate of this lone Zealot here, then all of a sudden, like 20, 30 Corruptors just got made at the same time. And yeah, you could see they're able to one-shot the carrier.
Yes, they are. And that's going to do it. Game 1 going to Eris. This is why Eris is so scary. Octopus was holding on. Eris even was making a little bit of a mistake, I think, with the Hydras. You called out they weren't targeting carriers or anything. They were kind of shooting the buildings. They could have just wiped that army immediately. So Octopus was able to hold on for a little bit, looking good. But then Eris just decides to come in for round 2 with some of the coolest moves. We have never seen any Infestors come in and steal the Golden Armada like that before in ProBots. So awesome control of the late game units. I'm sure we've seen the Infestors steal Thors and stuff, but I don't think we've ever seen it take carriers. Tempest.
I don't think we see carriers a lot just in general anyway. But yeah, that's exactly it. It's while Octopus was able to hold the first push, there was really no chance of him pushing out and counterattacking at any point. And even if he did, there's like 9 bases on the map. Like it becomes just punching into mud when he's got 80% of the map covered in creep. He's got your ability to expand completely covered. By this point, Octopus is essentially mined out of the 2 bases that he does have. also the production, it just never get high enough. You're not going to get there building one carrier and one Tempest at a time trying to kind of waffle. You have to either commit fully to one or something. It was a little too not enough.
Well, you have to play really greedy, I think, especially against a spot like Eris. We saw it last week against Ketchrock. Who was it, Dominion Dog or somebody? One of the games just went really early, like 5 expands, super early, and it worked out pretty good. Anyway, our game is ready. Game 2. Let's see what happens. Eris versus Octopus. Let's go.
Team Eris's.
Eris.
Hakados.
Octopus B3. Endersword.
Yo.
I have an amendment to make on a previous statement. Yes. So the bot template that is available just below me for you all to download and make your own bot is actually any race. I said it was a Terran template. It's whatever race you want it to be. You can be Protoss, Zerg, Terran, random. So, go follow your heart, let your wildest dreams come true, and make a bot. And hopefully we'll see it in ProBots in some kind of future season or something. Anyway, that's all. Just had to correct my false information there. Not just Terran. It's not all about the Terrans, Endersword. I am going to make mine a random bot just for sake of diversity.
Yeah, and increasing the difficulty by many, many times.
Well, I'm only coding like 3 things per race, so it'll be really easy. No, I'm not.
But if you compress, you could code 9 things for one race if you concentrate it.
If I worked really hard, maybe. I don't know. That's asking a lot, Endersword. All right, we are on Infestation Station.
We are. It already looks Zerg favored, just by the map itself. It looks like Creep's already there. You just got to change it purple.
Yeah, I can see it. I see it. Yeah, 3 bases right off the bat for Eris. So again, Octopus is going to be fighting an uphill battle if it chooses to get a little bit slower third base again. And yeah, we'll just kind of have to wait and see. Maybe the carriers get a really good engagement and they can just overwhelm before the infestors come out. That's gonna, if we get into that late game scenario, that might be the deciding factor. So
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see.
You gotta. I get the Void Ray in a sense because the Void Ray went around hunting for overlords.
Oh yeah.
I think, and again, I get the concept of the Oracle as well. I just don't know that you have time for both of those things if you're trying to hit like an early carrier push. And I don't think you can hit a late carrier push unless you're going to like a well-defended 4-base situation. So if you're trying to like get rate 2 carriers, then you're not going to get like 8 of them. You need to go with like 2 of them, 3 of them.
And start putting the pressure on?
Yeah,
is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Because you can't, like, it's hard to defend what you've got. Either you're going max carrier and then you're talking about a big economy, or you're talking about 100 supply carrier where you have to go with what you've got and see if that's enough to win. Because I think if you sit back too long, and Eris, as you could see, eventually just covered the entire map and creep, including your 3rd and 4th bases, then you're, even if you start to win, even if you wipe his army, it's going to take you 8 minutes to kill everything, even if he just sat there. So given that he could just keep remaxing on other things while you're now kind of choked out, is a problem. You really got to be aggressive with them.
Yeah, well, it'll just be a non-stop, endless push against just endless units coming out for Eris. Yeah. Just basically, you're gonna have to push against the tidal wave. That is Eris. So yeah, we forgot. We did get one final update for all of these bots, by the way. We forgot to mention. So we are hopefully going to see some new stuff. The update from Octopus was carriers, and carriers.
Excellent.
That's literally the note.
I should have read that because that was.
You should have read that, and you would have known.
But it's what I said anyway, so.
It was a little deceptive though because we saw tempests and oracles. Here's an oracle right here, void arrays. So it was a little deceptive. We didn't just see carriers, but we'll see what happens. I'm hoping for the carrier mass army to come through and bring us to an ace match. We'll see if it can pull it off.
Indeed. Now I see Burrow here is just about done. And we do have a gateway. I think this might be, well, obviously it's the second gateway. But he's building a second oracle too, which again, I'm uncertain about one. I definitely don't like two.
Why not two?
You're trying to make a carrier's army. You can't wait like every 30 seconds. It's too long.
I see what you're saying for the production. Well, he's got another
Nobody needs to be double pumping too, always, and no tempest and no whatever. I think he's trying to do too much with it. And that's center. But that's because of the ling there. That's fine. I don't know.
It's interesting. He got impatient. The Oracle revealed it, and he was able to kill the Zergling. So Octopus knew what was going on, fixed the problem, but the probe was just so impatient. It was like, fine, I'll put it here. Could have just waited one more second, but no.
Now, Ling's already overwhelming. They revelate on them. I like that's kind of good.
Oh my god!
Stasis pretty cool.
How did one time, that is the most epic Oracle thing we've ever seen, and we missed it. We're going to get a replay of that. Don't you worry, everybody. We will literally, I'm going to force our production to go back and watch that.
Yeah.
We will find a way. Holy crap, he got the whole mineral line. Didn't care that it was burrowed. That's kind of cool. I didn't realize that burrowed units got hit by stasis. Now I know. I wonder what triggered it, because if they were all burrowed, they wouldn't trigger it, right? Does movement trigger it, or does just being in the zone trigger it?
That is interesting. I do not know. That seems like a fear dragon thing.
Oh man, we're gonna go explore.
That is interesting. I also wonder too if you were burrowed and it doesn't trigger it. When in the unburrowing process do you trigger it?
I don't know.
Or if you were in the act of burrowing and that triggered it.
I think if it's just in the zone, it triggers it. I think it's way simpler than we're thinking.
Yeah, maybe. It's a weird edge case to what to do there. They're trying to keep the lings away. Now, if you can keep a third base up longer this time and not lose it to the lings and stuff, then that is definitely helpful. The real thing, though, is that letting the third base die and having the Hydras focus on it is what kept the original air army alive, or at least all the interceptors in the first game. So
hold on, is Eris being just way more passive this game? We're already at 7 bases for Eris, and Octopus is still just making one carrier at a time. It just feels way.
He didn't really attack until he was close to the max supply, which he's getting up to.
I just feel like he was doing more pressure last game by this point. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up.
He was like running by, but I don't think he was like really. He did end up wiping the mineral line. That's true.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Right about now was when he got.
But and then when he maxed out, he ended up killing the base. But yeah, this time, so he hasn't killed the workers off, which is a big difference. And then hopefully Octopus maybe has more. Like I could see he's getting a robo, which may make a difference this time, because I commented in the first game they didn't have detection other than from the Oracle, which isn't like the most effective way. So he is getting an observer this time. So maybe having the economy cut before prevented him from doing that. That was the plan, but he wasn't able to.
That'll be interesting, because if the queens come across as well, if the creep gets pushed back, they're going to be less effective.
Here comes the big.
But here it comes.
Big push. Very similar push to before, but we've got the infestors already in it.
Tempest did this last time too. So the Tempests are targeting the Overseers. The Hydralisks are targeting
something.
Interceptors
they're just running away.
I think they're and kind of running. I don't know. I can't tell what they're shooting.
Yeah, they're backing off a bit. They're kind of getting pulled off, but it's the Lings running wild that eventually take the base out. So the things that are the threat to the carriers and Tempest do get taken down, and then we ended up with this massive Lings left that got absorbed in the wall, but after the base falls. This time he had way less at the end, and the mutas I don't think existed in the first game. So I think he's in better like Octopus I think comes out in better shape here, even though he loses the third base. I think it was cleaned up a lot cleaner and quicker than it was last time. Because last time it sat at the wall there dying slowly for like a minute.
But yeah, you say he's in better shape, but so did he have just one arm ripped off instead of two this time, or?
Yeah, well, yes,
because he's an octopus and they get their arms ripped.
Yeah, he had the third base, but you can see this stuff is still alive. So now it'll die, but but yeah, he didn't lose like all the he didn't lose time actually more than anything. It's still enough time that Eris obviously now remaxing on these corruptors. They're kind of acting a little weird, but yeah, he is now kind of grouping up to shoot down the carriers like one-shotted.
Yeah, the Hydras don't seem to be the answer against the carriers. They're having a hard time with it, but the corruptors are in enough number. And actually, that was one of the updates, was fixing an idle corruptor flock. There was a bug that caused the flock of corruptors to just sit idle. I think we saw that actually in one of the games a week or two ago. Can't remember exactly. Anyway, Eris is crushing through, has more than double the army supply. There is now just 2 carriers left to hold the line. Oh, and a Tempest. There's a Tempest coming into the fray. Don't forget that Stalker there. But I don't think it's going to be enough, Endersword. I think Eris is just too strong.
Even with the Stalker?
Even with the Stalker, who actually seems to be invincible. It's ninja'd its way into... Oh, now it's dying.
Oh, wow.
It lived for a long time.
That was his last hope. That was his last hope. But yeah, a little bit better this time. But yeah, it's just kind of once Eris makes that sharp turn into the corruptors, then yeah, they're just kind of fanning out, and then eventually when they hit the point they know they can, they're collapsing and killing the carrier like one volley at a time.
Yeah, not bad though. Not bad.
Yeah,
I like the strategy to go up into the late game tech right away against bots. We can see that be pretty successful from time to time.
Yeah, definitely you can. It has the real key is to get there in a way that's overwhelming. Yeah. So if you're going to do this, you need to be making kind of the Golden Armada death ball that then is immovable, because it's very expensive to get there. So you have to make sure that you can basically support 4 bases up to that point. And he was having trouble supporting 3 against Eris. And then you've got to, even once you've got it, because of Eris's just massive expansion, you've got to now go around whacking all the bases and taking them out, even after you crush the army. But Eris is able to literally throw an entire army away and remax 30 seconds later, like nothing happened, because he's got so many larvae, so many resources. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, well, congratulations to Eris. You are moving on into the round of 4. And unfortunately for Octopus, you are getting tossed into the scrap pile. But maybe we'll see you again next season. Not a bad run for your first time to make it all the way into the round of 8. Very, very impressive. So everybody give a round of applause for Octopus. That was a very impressive showing. I'm excited to see what that bot brings us in the future. The fact that it can already go into the late game scenario, that's one of the harder things to figure out. So if it can really get that, that build tightened up and really start being aggressive with it, I think there's going to be a lot of success there for Octopus.
So on to V4, I guess.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, good job again, Eris. You are moving on to the round of 4. Next, we will decide Eris's opponent. Will it be Kani, a Zerg, or Ketchrock, our local Terran? Wait, he's not the only Terran. Him and Micro Machine.
Yeah. And Tyr.
Right? They're the... Oh, yeah, and Tyr. I'm so used to Tyr being Protoss. Throwing my brain off. Okay, so we still have a lot of Terrans left. But here is... Oh, there was Kani, and then here is Ketchrock. breezing through them here. This is going to be a great matchup. I love a good TVZ. Ketchrock really can play for the late game. He does a lot of cheeky stuff now. We might see proxied Marines. I actually haven't looked at the updates, so let's go ahead and talk about those real quick as I pull them up. So Ketchrock, he is always updating his bot. It's always doing so well on the ladder. I have no doubt we're going to see something pretty good here. Here we go. Minor improvements versus Tempest and Cannon worker rushes, things like that. Oh, he is prepared heavily for Eris is the main update I'm seeing. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. But hey, if you can beat Eris, you can beat pretty much any Zerg, right? I would imagine.
Pretty much. Yeah,
pretty much. So. Yeah. I think it's a safe bet. So we'll see how we can do. This is like in Zelda, you know how you have the boss halfway through the dungeon? This is like that. And then if Ketchrock wins this, he gets to go on to Eris, the #1 over on AI Arena ladder.
Exactly.
It's going to be
this
epic
is the one
either
that,
way.
Like, drops the big key or something like
that. Something like that. We'll see. This is going to be a great matchup. TVZ here on ProBots. Let's go.
Patoshes.
Kani Nana.
Ketchrocks.
Ketchrock. All right, Endersword, I am a fan of this update from Kani Nana. We saw what Ketchrock might bring to the table. Well, if he goes to versus Eris. Kani Nana is greedier. That's the update. Greedier. And changing engagement rules, but that's, just minor tweaks here and there, I'm sure. I like that. Greedier. You got to be greedy, and it can work out against Ketchrock.
Yeah, I definitely think so. You don't... Ketchrock does have a couple builds that are early, but usually not. So yeah, if you know that he usually doesn't play that way against you, then it makes sense. We've seen Zergs have just a lot of success being greedier.
That's kind of how Zerg's supposed to play,
one of those things. Yeah, you're supposed to take usually an extra base over your non-Zergy opponents. It helps you with the creep spread, helps you all that stuff. Zerg has probably the more intricate macro mechanics going on, and being a bot takes the difficulty part out of that. So you know that you're always hitting ejects, you're always hitting tumors. You know how many larvae you have at all times, things like that. So it kind of, you can lean into that and be a lot greedier, knowing that when it's time to switch, you can switch very quickly.
Yeah. And yeah, that is the strength of Zerg, if done correctly, is that ability just to switch and swarm and build 30 of the unit you need most. Be it Hydras, Corruptors, whatever.
Exactly.
We'll see what happens. Ketchrock being his defensive self has the bunker coming down outside of the natural, so I'm curious to see if he's going to get an orbital or a planetary. He has been favoring orbitals a little more. Oh, yes, it's this build. I've seen this a little bit on the ladder. This is Ketchrock's ghost build. We heard tale of this in the... oh, no, we saw it, actually.
Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah,
last season we saw. And, it's pretty good. Ghosts. Again, it actually leans into that same thing of for humans, too many ghosts is difficult, but for a bot, there's no problem in sniping everything.
Yeah, and microing them all individually, you can use them to split. They're actually pretty tanky against various things, like roaches, zerglings, They're a good unit. I think the ghost might be the best unit. That's coming from a Protoss player. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm not biased. I think ghosts are just badass.
This
is going to be cool. Well, especially against Zerg, because Snipe is against biological units, right?
Yeah.
So everything Zerg is biological. You can snipe every Zerg unit, right?
Yeah.
I think? Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Not buildings, obviously, but...
They should be able to do the buildings, too. Those are biological.
I don't think you can snipe buildings, though.
You can't, but you should. You
should be able to.
I want to see it in the new patch.
It'd be like trying to tear a house down with bullets. Yeah. It would just take way too many.
Especially when you could do the old scroll wheel ability use.
Oh my god, that was
like
dirty.
That was like the period where you could just group up
rapid fire
and just go boom and just take out like an Ultralisk or something. Usually a Bird Lord.
Yeah, that stuff was sick. Oh, well, the first ghosts are on the way. We do have a starport as well, so we should see some medevac support, I would imagine. Right? Ghost drops would be epic. That would be pretty cool. I think they're just going to be there for healing. Again, ghosts are pretty tanky, so with medevac support, they're even stronger and can really last a long time in a long, drawn-out fight. So this is going to be interesting to see how this pans out here. We're going to need a lot of roaches or I think mass Zergling might be a better build, just to absorb the mass amount of snipes that are going to be built up. Right?
Yeah, just overwhelm their rate of fire.
Have to overwhelm its rate of fire, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get a lot going on here. And yeah, there's no strong indication yet of what Kani is doing other than greedier. So we got 54 drones. I like that. 4 bases like that. And so far, Kani hasn't really had to make a strong decision on what to do. And I feel like with the number of ghosts that are there, just a Ling Flood could deal with them as they are. But obviously, I think we're going to get Ketchrock doing something a bit. I was going to say hold to a bit later, but it looks like he is going to move maybe just to protect this third.
Well, I think this is right on the edge of one of those really expensive builds where you have to have a third base to really support it and keep it going. Because ghosts cost, how much gas do they cost? It's like a lot, right? 100 or something?
A fair bit. And then especially, he's adding Ravens behind this too, which is a bit of a mainstay. I think Ravens definitely help you cover the retreat a lot. We've seen them use turrets, obviously, just to delay armies out. So I think that's a good addition to the Ghost Squad. They're one of those things that, like, eventually you can get in a position where you're overwhelmed and you just want to back out, and you can't be losing a bunch of them. So, the Raven will help clear creep, and Raven will help with turret.
Well, yeah, those turrets can be a nice damage sponge to buffer for the ghosts a little bit. Yeah, well, gearing up here. I'm excited to see these ghosts in action. There's 3 of them, 2 or 3 building at a time here. No upgrades just yet on them. I don't even think there's is there an engineering bay out? He's got to have one because he's got planetaries. Yeah, so just no upgrades yet. Okay, but he is getting Vikings, so he's going to have air control. That's going to be really important as well. If the ghosts can't see things like Broodlord or things up ramps, they might have a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, also to try and take out, he hasn't gotten it, but if obviously part of Ghosts is mass cloaking, so if he can keep Overseers completely away or dead,
did he get cloaked?
He didn't get it yet, or at least not that I saw.
Okay.
Yeah. But I imagine that would come at some point. You might as well get it.
That would be solid, especially against Zerg. If you can just take out all the Overseers, which Ghosts, as you can see there, excel at doing. Boom, wipe all the Overseers, cloak, all of a sudden your Ghosts can just wreak havoc. Even though the Zerg knows they're there, there's nothing they'll be able to do about it. So I'd love to see cloak put in. That would be awesome. All right, well, this is a big Zerg force. It's going to be able to absorb a lot of snipes, and a lot of energy has been used cleaning up things like Overseers and even Changelings. We've seen snipes going down on these little spies that are getting thrown out by the Overseers. That might be energy better saved for the main engagement. There's a good amount here, but some of these ghosts are running a little bit low already.
A few of them.
You want those snipes?
A few of them definitely are, although I would kind of say at least for every Overseer, especially if you know your opponent is going to keep making them, you're draining gas a bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time you do. So if it was just the Overlords, then, it's just minerals, whatever. But if you know that Kani is going up to higher tech, which he is, he's got an infestation pit, he's getting a hive now, and you're able to delay some of the gas, then that's good. But yeah, I'm not sure where where or what point this moves out for Ketchrock. Obviously, Kani is at max, and it looks like he's going to be aggressive now. Ketchrock is not quite there yet.
Yeah, Kani has decided to go. Man, Kani is quick on the draw here, already to 200 supply. And roaches and zerglings are going to come in two different angles. The mass roach force is going to engage with the ghosts, while I imagine the zerglings go in to attack, but they haven't just yet. A lot of ghosts getting sniped down.
They're stuck by this planetary. They don't want to go.
Oh no, they go in when the ghosts show up. That's not the best time to go for that. We'll see if it creates an opening for the roaches here, though.
It's what
no.
Yeah, what it did create an opening for is in supply for the infestors to be built. But I don't know if infestors, obviously against ghosts, is the best thing.
I think it can be really good because the ghosts are slow. If you slow them down that much more with fungals, they're going to be really easy to surround with zerglings and wipe out if you have a big enough economy.
If you can
do that.
Yeah, the trick is, can you get in close enough to fungal without dying? Yeah, it's all about which one does the initiative part.
Yeah. Well, and then do you have enough to overwhelm after the fungal? Right?
Yeah, exactly. You need a few things to work in your favor to make that work. But yeah, both of them evened up in supply now. Both of them relatively even in terms of the army count. You can see both of them struggling a little bit with gas, but Kani with a good mineral bank.
I'm telling you, Mass Zergling just keep sending them, and the ghosts are going to use up all their snipes and they'll just be able to overwhelm. The Zerg force seems really afraid to engage these ghosts.
Yeah, if they went right there while they were split up and kind of passing a straight line, I think that would have been devastating, but did not. There are attacks on the other side here as well. Yeah, he's getting like a few, but yeah, they're very hesitant to go in against it.
Which is unfortunate because, yeah, there is very minimal medevac support, actually. Just one to heal this whole army. So once the ghosts start taking damage, they're just not going to be able to heal up, and they're going to start dying off. But, yeah, Kani and Nana's just too afraid of the mass ghost force. But it's funny because now Ketchrock seems a little bit too afraid to push into this one spine crawler.
Yeah,
one spine crawler to hold the line here.
And they're not really attacking yet. They're clicking on it as if they want to attack it, but they're not attacking it.
I think that's just the move click, right?
Yeah.
Or is that the attack?
I think you're right.
They're in range to hit it, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Because they're getting
poked.
But
they're not.
So
they're getting poked at. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. There's little attacks all along the sides here as well with Vikings and other units. We've got the Zerg chasing away command center of Ketchrock on the left side, and we've got this weird arc of ghosts, and you see an EMP is kind of what I'm concerned about with the infestors.
Oh yeah, that would be not
and
the best.
He shot one in the middle of the roach Hydra army, which doesn't do things.
So
yeah,
you just saw the Greater Spire, yeah?
Yeah.
But there's no Broodlords out, right?
Not yet. Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
Whether he's and there's no Corruptors either. Both of them are also kind of max. So if Kani needs to lose supply to make that transition, then he hasn't really done that yet. This spine controller is just controlling the game. Like
it has saved the game for Kani. This game would have been over, I think, if it wasn't for this one spine crawler.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going on there.
Apparently, that's the ultimate defense against ghosts. Just build one spine crawler.
Does it have?
Oh, he's attacking it.
There he goes. Yeah.
One cloaked ghost is going for it. Why the rest don't cloak and attack is beyond me.
Got in Brave again and ran back to his group. The spine crawler itself actually has no kills, so it's just diversified.
Is there a Marine?
Here comes. Yeah, here they come, backing them up for whatever reason. So the little bit of a stalemate. Was it just one of those, the Changeling Marine?
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. No, there's a blue Marine back there. Yeah, I think it might be. Anyway, nukes are on the way, so that might just be the end, or the decider here. Finally, the spine crawler is starting to take some damage. I don't know what caused Ketchrock to decide to start attacking it finally, but it's actually kind of stopped again.
Yeah, I don't know what's making either one of them really be so hesitant. Like, the Kaninana's army is so scared of this, and that they're scared of the spine. It looks like that hatchery will eventually go down. But again, it's shocking that the spine is not yet. But I'll be curious to see what all hell breaks loose when this finally does die.
Yeah, finally it's gonna die.
Yeah.
Okay, now the hatchery's gonna melt. Oh boy. Who did I pick? So I picked Kaninana to win just because I think Ketchrock is cursed and won't ever get a game against Eris. But
yeah,
I might be wrong, Endersword. These ghosts are doing some work.
There's another spine, so who knows now?
Oh,
he's got the nuke launching on that base though, and
he's gonna pull back. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, takes the spine out.
A few ghosts get caught by the big army. Again, there is a huge army for Kaninana. The bank just got used up, but there is one big chance for Kaninana to push and I think overwhelm this.
Yeah.
With what it has.
It's just whether he will, and unfortunately the Remax done by Kaninana here is going to push more into the army supply, but it's the same stuff. He made more roaches, more hydras. And if that's the thing that's scared of ghosts in the first place, then we could have a problem.
We could have a big sandwich
around, but he's not going to engage on the other side. And you can see how quick that took everything out, and the cloak ghost as well. Like, you have to really hit hard to get that. But see if he remaxes something different, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it.
Well, Snipe one-shots everything in that army except for the queens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So God, it's just so dirty how quick it melts. Everything. Oh my gosh.
The infestor's there, and have they been there the whole time too? I think that was what was being EMP'd earlier. You couldn't really see them under the army, but that's the exact spot that was EMP'd. So if they just never move, and maybe part of it is that the army doesn't want to move without them, but will not move into ghosts that can EMP them.
Mm-hmm.
That could be part of it. It's hard to explain exactly Kaninana's behavior here.
I do love the burrow. Keeps a few units alive for a little bit longer, but I fear that Ketchrock just has too many ghosts, and they're kind of running freely through all of Kaninana's production. A big nuke coming down on one of the main, actually I think the only mining base.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks like there's dregs in the second and third, but probably the half mineral patches, and that does just evaporate pretty much everything. Base goes down, and there's not much left here for Kaninana anymore. And there, the sparse mineral patches as the ghosts move through. Something that we've seen a lot from bots over the years is kind of the inability to have I might lose, but I need to defend thing. So we've seen a lot of bots systematically lose all their bases while their army just gets kind of pushed and chased into the main. And it's hard to pick that point, but there's got to be almost a last stand point where it's like, well, if I don't hold you here, then I lose anyway. So even though I think I'm going to lose, I might as well try and hold you here.
Oh, yeah. If you're doing your last stand in your main base, the game's pretty much over. Exactly. Oh, nice fungal, though. It was on fast forward. Oh, another really good one there.
Yeah.
Finally, the infestor's coming into play, but it's a little too late, unfortunately, for Kaninana. Still some nice
shots. Yeah, you can
nice
see the danger of it. It's just it's not until they're pushed back into a corner like that they actually do it.
Oh man, if he had done that while the Zerg army was with it, with all the roaches, hydras, that would have melted. I think he might have been able to take the ghosts out if he had been hitting those fungals. Anyway, game one will go to Ketchrock. Not as long as we predicted. There is a prediction as well in the prediction brackets. You could predict the longest game, or who you think would cause the longest game, and I think a lot of people chose Ketchrock. He's definitely known for the longer late game scenario. I think, more than most bots.
Does tend to be, but I think it depends on the path. And since he's facing Zergs, I picked Tyr, who's going to be in TVTs. So we'll see.
You chose Tyr to win the whole thing?
No, I chose Tyr to be the longest game.
Oh, the longest game. Oh, I'm sorry.
Because it's going to be a potentially, TVT that he's going to do. So
we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Tyr has a couple of really smart builds lined up for us. We'll talk more about that one. That's going to be our final match of the night.
But yeah, this one, we'll see what Kani Nana can adjust to. It really came down to like army aggression. I think there were windows there where he could have won, but he let it go way too long, and then transitioned in tech, but then never built the unit. So had a greater spire, had all that stuff, never built it. If he had broodlords, could he have held them back and done enough damage with broodlings to do it?
Yeah, maybe the ghosts get stuck on the broodlings or something. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens in game number 2 here. We'll see if Kani Nana can turn things around. Let's go.
Patoshes.
Kani Nana.
Ketchrocks.
Ketchrock. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if we've seen Ketchrock go up against broodlords in the past, because it is one of those units, kind of like carriers or anything that creates those free units. Sometimes the bots don't know how to deal with that properly. They get really confused by all of a sudden, oh, there's a bunch of new units here, and then halfway through the fight, sometimes they'll just disappear, or whatever. Same with turrets, that kind of thing. The ghost could very easily have gotten caught up on the broodlings or focused too much on them and not the broodlords. I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
I find unless you like specifically design that as a case for it, like that you want it to take this into account, then I think their default behavior is generally to treat them as if they're a unit and just treat them the same, so they don't appreciate that this is temporary and that we're not getting any value from doing this.
Well, and you could just code the response, oh, broodlords step in and snipe, right?
Yeah.
But that can be risky.
Yes.
Right? If you try to walk into a big giant Zerg force or lurkers or something, you might not get those spells off in time. So I don't know, it's one of those hard scenarios that isn't black and white. There's a lot of different outcomes. In
a lot of decision making and a lot of terrain based decision making when it comes to broodlords too, which again is a bot kind of weak spot. Is like you get ultimately where people love to have broodlords is hanging over cliffs and stuff where they can just fire down, but then very safely retreat back to a high ground if they need it. And it's hard to account for that. You can kind of bait someone forward thinking that they're going to get you and then kind of pull back and just leave them with a bunch of broodlings and nothing else.
Yeah. It's tricky. Well, I like what I've seen out of Kani Nana so far. Definitely geared up to that more late game scenario, which I think is how you're going to beat a bot like Ketchrock, because he is very defensive to start things off usually. And it's not easy to break through his front line all the time. So you do almost have to just wait and build up, get that overwhelming late game army, and then just try to crush what he's got, because I'm trying to think of some of the late game compositions Ketchrock does. Mass Ravens is one of them. Mass Banshees. Yeah. He does some tricky to deal with things, know, where if all of a sudden you don't have air control, well, the Banshees and Vikings are just going to kill everything else because they're microed perfectly or whatever. So, no, he's a hard bot to beat. What's going on here? Barracks? Oh, barracks and a factory.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, kind of normalish stuff. Like everything here pointing towards the similar thing so far. We got the single ghost up revealing himself to that Ling, who will never again see the light of day.
Nope.
And
maybe in heaven. Do all Lings go to heaven?
Lings go to heaven? They probably do. They probably do. I think they're good. I don't think they know what they're doing is wrong. They're just
animals. They just got to eat, man. They're just trying to survive. All right, well, that one gets picked off. So, yeah, a nice little bunkered position here. Kani and Nana's scouts will not get in. But there's not much to see other than ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. That is the scout, basically. Is to say that it's the same thing again. And that's all he really needs to know. And is there going to be a change in what's going on? Hard to say. Because, you like, certainly if you know that it's ghosts, you're not going to generally want, like, Mass Hydra or something. Gonna want something else, but but that's what he did last time, and who knows? Got Burrow finishing up again. Both of them really lockstep, looking quite similar to the first game. So it may be that Ketchrock knows. Ketchrock often does design for things specifically that he knows the other bot is weak to, or tendencies that they have, or ways that they're going to get kind of stuck in the wrong behavior based on what you're doing, and that may be the case here.
I just want to see more nukes. I'm ready for the nuke Armageddon to come down and just wipe Zerg off the map. Nothing personal, Kani Nana. I just like ghosts and their abilities.
Nukes are fun.
Nukes are fun.
But I don't know. Kani Nana wants to go with. I'm not sure what the I think the real best response is Ling flooding before this gets too big. It's kind of one of those, how do you deal with 40 ghosts? And the answer is how the fuck did you let him get 40 ghosts?
Yeah.
Like, what were you doing while he was doing that? And I think that unfortunately is the answer here, and it doesn't look like Kani Nana is in a position to embrace that. And take it out. But like, this entire thing, 3 bases are currently being defended by 8 ghosts.
And two in a bunker and then a few roaming around. Yeah, 30 Zerglings right now would just come in and start wasting things. Like, mass Zergling, is a very good way to counter early Ghost. Because, they just get overwhelmed. The rate of fire of the Ghost isn't enough. There's just not enough of them to keep firing. There's not enough medevac support to keep them healed. And they just get overwhelmed. So, a little bit unfortunate. Kani Nana has been so greedy. It's good that it's being so greedy economically. But right now would be the point where you just start building units and swarming the opponent. Because you've got 4 to 3 bases. A 5th on the way even. Okay, there's a 4th on the way for Ketchrock. But still, you're going to have a nice window to just keep putting on pressure and just kind of stopping Ketchrock in its tracks. If not, just outright killing.
Yeah, and I think there's a cold shutdown point because of how Ketchrock plays, that once the planetaries are up, that's the shutdown for the mass Ling.
Yeah.
But there is definitely, I'd say probably 2 to 3 minute window there where this is very vulnerable. And it's just, he may know that it's just not something Kani Nana is going to do and knows that this is safe to do. And then by the time, because he's not only super getting the ghosts up, and that's your only defense other than the one bunker, but also taking 6 bases off of it. Like, it's just aggressive on 2 different fronts. It's economically very greedy, and it's very thinly defensive for a long time. And now that you get to this number, I think he's now stable, and particularly with the planetaries is super stable.
Yeah, we saw a quick supply block there getting pointed out. A lot of overseers getting sniped down. So they are being a little bit reckless almost with their scouting. They're keeping great tabs on Ketchrock's army and what it's doing. But that's not really that important at the moment because Ketchrock is just playing defensively until he has that critical mass of overwhelming units. We're getting close. 141 supply. We should very shortly be seeing Ketchrock start to push onto the creep and start clearing it out and that kind of thing. Infestors are going to be on the way very shortly. I'm really hoping that they get a little more aggressive this game. But with that pathogen glands on the way, you get a few good fungals and just keep swarming in with your big bank. We should hopefully have a big bank by the time Kani starts engaging. We're starting to build it up now. But I just don't know if the Infestors are going to pull through or not. I'm nervous.
And you're right.
More Overseers.
Yeah, we got this chain supply block too. Even though he's maxed out basically anyway, he's at 174 in capacity. So he's way overbuilt given that he's lost again another one at 166 now. So he's got to rebuild those and hopefully not lose more. But yeah, again, we see the army just kind of being really hesitant to go in and do anything.
Oh, he's so afraid of the ghosts. Go, go, go. Here we go. The roaches were engaging, but they pull back and they don't commit. I feel like they should have just committed and just used up the ghost's energy, because then you can just start reinforcing. There's a decent bank here for Kani and Anna just to get a big swell of Zerglings. Again, it's Zerglings, man. That's the answer. It all comes back to Zerglings, Endersword.
It is true, and we do see a lot of bots kind of do that sort of behavior of like the almost commit and then pull out, which is way more damaging than just doing one or the other. That you end up losing units and you didn't gain anything. If you retreat, you retreat. If you attack, you attack. You should never attack and then decide a second later.
After you've already lost like a third of your army or whatever. Ooh, a little bit of a sloppy movement across the creep here. A couple ghosts going to get killed off, but nothing substantial. Ketchrock's still in a really dominating position. And again, all with no upgrades. This is just mass ghost Viking, pretty much.
Yeah. Need no upgrades.
They don't need no upgrades.
Yeah. Now pump them out 6, 7, 8 at a time.
You kind of don't when you have that many coming out at once. When you're making them faster than Zerglings are coming out,
And he is getting the cloak here just now, and yeah, we've kind of hit that point that Ketchrock's army is going to be very, very difficult to approach. And one key too to this, because he's got the Ravens with him, he is habitually cleaning up creep here as well. This one spine crawler positioned really well to just stick things on the ramp, I guess. If he could get a fungal, get a fungal on that, he'd be golden. But yeah, weird. I'm sure Ketchrock can fix this behavior, but this spine crawler hesitancy, which is uncalled for, and it's this weird hesitancy that again we see in bot behavior of, if you're scared of it, move back. What's with this? I'm scared of it, but I'm not going anywhere.
Just scared enough. Ooh, stealing a Viking.
All right.
Gonna target it down. Oh, really nicely done. So it does actually have the code to target those down with the Hydralisk. So that's a nice little pickoff. What was I just gonna say? So you say Ketchrock can fix this, but he can't for ProBots.
No,
this is the final update.
Now.
These bots, not now. I just want to make sure there's no confusion there. These are the final updates. These bots are gonna have to deal with any bug they have for the rest of their tournament life. So this doesn't seem like a huge game-breaking one, because Ketchrock does keep his ghosts alive, at least in this scenario. So eventually he'll break through, and then the ghosts will clean up. So as long as he doesn't take like 5 fungals to the face and lose all his ghosts, then he should be fine.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen one infester yet.
They're there. They're at the natural. They're at the natural burrowed, and they're not moving.
Oh, there they are. Okay.
Because they took that Viking.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
But they're sitting there full end. I don't know what's going on with that code too. It made sense more last time because they were with the army, and then I think they were being scared of the ghosts. But now they're really far away from the ghosts, so I don't know why they're doing what they're doing, but they are.
God, look at that damage output. Boom, the base is melted. Oh, yeah, you get into these higher tech units, and they get a little bit trickier to, I think, program for and deal with. Because you are dealing with more variables all of a sudden. With spells, especially with the ghosts, you have multiple. When do you snipe something? What unit's important enough to snipe? When should I cloak? Am I being detected right now? Should I EMP one infester? Should I wait till there's 4?
Yeah.
You get into these later game units. Boom! I love watching. That just sidetracked me. Anyway, yeah, you get into the later game units, it just gets a little bit more complex, a little bit harder to deal with every scenario out there. So it's you know, case by case basis, I think. Either way, I think I was gonna say I think Ketchrock's pretty much got this in the bag, just because of what we've seen so far. But supplies like dead even, and there is still a decent bank, and there's the Fungals.
Now,
Come
if he
on,
could just
baby.
engage this, but he's not, and there's not another infestor to follow it up.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, now there is, but okay.
There's another. Come on, get it.
Bit more.
Okay,
he
kind of gets it.
Part of it.
Oh, come on, infestors. You can do it.
Yeah, that was the chance. He's got a lot of these in the orange and red. Are these guys gonna accidentally engage?
No, that's fine. So they're wasting ghost energy. That's all part of the plan.
Sure.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, a lot of ghosts are cloaked, so they're going to be draining energy on that. Boom, boom, boom. The roaches get melted. There goes Kani on his bank. We're going to have one last big remax. Hydralisks, a couple infestors. We're going to need to see some of the best fungals in the world here if Kani Nana wants to survive.
And unfortunately,
it's not impossible.
It's not impossible, but we need to see like 4 of them. It can't even just be. We need to see a chain fungal of everything like 4 times to kill it.
Oh man, it's so close. Okay, there's the upgrades finally coming down. Poor Ketchrock, he's got +3 on the way now. Kani Nana's actually really quick on the upgrades. Already has it maxed out for the most part. There's a lot of dead mules. Kani Nana is trying to take some ground back here, but this is going to be a really hard fight to win. There's one fungal. There's
Another
2 fungals. Here comes a third. Come on.
Needs it.
Oh, it was coming, Endersword. There it is.
Oh, there we go.
4. Okay, the 4th one wasn't very good. Only got a few ghosts.
Yeah,
that's better. I see a ghost dying. I saw 2 ghosts die. Oh, man, this is so close. They're so bruised. The medevacs are so low on energy. Kani Nana still almost maxed out with a little bit of income. Good gas bank will be able to reinforce for a little bit longer here, but Ketchrock can reinforce for ages. I feel like that's going to be the deciding factor. Even if this army gets cleaned up, Ketchrock can remake this 10 times over almost.
Yeah, for sure. It's more just wanting to see if they can get fungal to death, but they'd be replaced almost immediately.
Yeah, where is Kani Nana's army? It's like 132 supply, but we're seeing 3 hydras. Okay, here's a little group of roaches.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the. Yeah, it's all over the place now. There's a good chunk of the infestors. There's another decent fungal again, but he just needs that chain of them to make it work. And just as he's getting it, there's just way too many of the ghosts. Anytime they come in contact, it's just taking out that little division, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, decent ain't gonna cut it in this scenario. Oh, there's a good one. That's a mud, but again, the ghosts have healed up at this point. The medevacs were able to rebuild some energy.
Fresh pack.
Fresh pack of ghosts.
So many medevacs here now.
Yeah. Oh, a whiff of a fungal. Oh, he's getting the medevacs, actually. If you could kill the medevacs off, that would be really helpful. That would actually be really, really helpful if you could get the medevacs.
A couple there. Yeah.
Okay, well, this army's building up because it's busy dealing with this expansion that Ketchrock's trying to take on Kani Nana's side of things. A few more fungals coming down. Nice fungal there. There is a big swell of units. They're going to start doing damage.
He was brave enough for a second to start taking out all those red ones, and but then immediately backed up again.
It's so close.
If he could trap them between the infestors and the vine crawler that they're scared of for whatever reason. And that here comes a shot.
Oh, that is the juiciest fungal of the bunch. There's another one. This actually might clear out the ghosts.
Yeah, that.
Oh my god, he did it.
Now, unless he counterattacks immediately and decisively, then that'll just get rebuilt. But that was the moment that we're waiting for, where they were so clumped up because of the spine crawler they were scared of, that they had everything just in that one spot. The gas, more even than I might have thought, but the minerals 2 to 1.
Oh, well, it's all the snipes. So many Zerg units have been sniped down that they're just, they're replaced pretty quickly because Kani has had a really good economy up until this point.
Yeah, and 56 ghosts have died on Ketchrock's side. Yeah, quite a bit. But then 88 hydras, 81 roaches. Yeah, not great.
All right, here comes some fungals now. As long as the infestors stay alive, they're going to be able to keep fungling and pushing back small units of these ghosts. But it's just this bank. Ketchrock can afford to lose a lot of stuff here. Not over and over though. He's going to lose a nice squad of roaches here, or I'm sorry, of ghosts here potentially. One more fungal, come on! Oh, it's so close.
Yeah, we can see like half of them. We can see a point there at which Kani is willing to be aggressive, but it's a deep point, and he doesn't have everything together. So if the army was together when it makes one of those decisions, like, okay, it's go time, then that would be something. But it's like a fourth of the army that's there because of all this stuff milling around all over the place. So it's just not together to make a push. It's enough to take out that little group of ghosts, but then they come back and, you're in the same spot again. And yeah, there's another. I guess that's equal as long as they're tying up the Vikings and you're tying up the Hydras. But he needs things together to go.
Andersword, I've got a math question for you. How many times do you have to cancel a refinery to spend 12,000 minerals?
Cancel the refineries isn't.
So you get 57 back. So you're losing 18 a turn, right? So what's 13,000 divided by 18? Somebody go. That's how many times Kani Nana's going to have to deny that refinery for a big comeback, I think, to take place.
Yeah. So 600.
Nice neurals. That's good.
6,000. No, yeah.
6,000, something like that.
No, it's, what am I talking about? Yeah, 666, something like that.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
A lot of times. We're only, he's kind of doing it, but the mules are bringing in more money than the cancellations are wasting, so it doesn't really matter as Ketchrock has taken more than half the map. Oh, there's a good fungal, but again. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Okay, Kani Nana's just not being aggressive enough.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the chain of investors anymore as well.
Yeah, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the bank to be able to replenish an army now. So now it doesn't matter. If he's aggressive, this army is going to get sniped and it's all over anyway. So I think that might be the final. These ghosts might be Kani Nana's undoing. I don't want to call it just yet, but I just don't see how there's a way for our Zerg to win here. There's no way to remax once this army's gone.
Yeah, no, it's especially with a lot of the workers are dying. These bases are being mined out by mules. He's long distance mining at this point. Well, so and yeah, just at the end of the day, Kani Nana can take out the ghosts all he wants. It's not being aggressive. It's not really ever crossed to Ketchrock's side of the map, and it's unclear what would make him do that.
Oh, someone did the math. 722.
To be what?
You have to cancel the refinery 722 times.
To get to 12,000?
Or 12 or 30. I changed my requirements.
Yeah, you said 12,000 the first time, and then you said 13,000. Yeah. So I think that's for 13,000.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a lot of times, more than I think Kani Nana can pull off. Yeah, I think we're just going to see a slow death here of our Zerg. It was a valiant effort and a really good... So the economy is solid. The unit composition is really good. Just the army decision-making is not enough to beat Ketchrock here for Kani Nana. So, again, it's one of those real close, on the edge, almost able to take it scenarios, but without being decisive, without taking the proper engagements, you're just not going to win against mass endless ghosts. They're just too good. You really have to engage it correctly and at the right times. Yeah, I'm not saying and that's what I'm saying. It's not easy. By no means is this easy to deal with. So kudos for dealing with it so long and staying alive this long. There's more camps going down. And this is gonna be like a really slow chokehold. Ketchrock is having a hard time pushing in. Actually pulls back. That's interesting. I wonder what makes all these ghosts pull back all of a sudden. Yeah, so we can steal the minerals with the mules. You saw the mass mule drop there. Check it out. I don't think anybody's ever seen that many mules.
Yeah.
They're getting killed.
He's been doing that and actually losing them for a bit.
Oh, he doesn't care.
But yeah, that's a big one. It's
all that's Kani Nana's money, right?
Yeah. All energy. And yeah, now here flanking the queens as they come through the other way. One guy gets fungled.
So yeah, I think I can safely call it. I think Ketchrock will be moving on to the round of 8.
Now for that bonus question, this is a 20. Yeah. It's a 24-minute game already. It's not going to be that quick for it to get mopped up, although that helps, that little run by. Yeah, what do you think the final time?
31 and 17 seconds.
Sounds about right. I'm gonna say I kind of want to know where all the spine crawlers on the map.
That affects things.
That's gonna be the thing that does it.
Yeah, I think that's the one spine. No, okay, there's one at each base, so they're
nice
back. Ooh, some nice fungals.
Kind of
coming down again.
Out of nowhere. But yeah, again, no. The huge medevac help is no longer with this, so they could be whittled down a lot more efficiently if you get more fungals in. But
yeah,
again,
but how many
crazy?
How many ghosts can you build with 29,000 minerals and 7,000 gas?
Probably a few.
You can build almost 10 with you can build like 8 with 1,000 gas, right? So you can build like 40 or 50 more ghosts.
Yeah.
Just like double that stuff. No, this is gonna eventually wrap up, and it was a great series between the two, and well fought from Kani Nana, but Ketchrock will be going on to face Eris. So, do you think this spine crawler issue is going to affect Ketchrock's play against Eris? Is Eris known for going spine crawlers?
Not really. Certainly not at every base like this. I think I've seen Eris do early game spine crawlers if she was being attacked, but not like this. And it's amazing how effective they are. Just a single spine at every base, but
he pulls back and leaves it alive.
Let it heal.
Okay, he comes back to finish. There we go. All right, so I was a little off. I don't think this wraps up quite in time. Maybe 30 minutes. We do have to go to the end of the game because there is the scenario that Ketchrock crashes. There is a world where it happens. Very low chance, but
it's possible, especially in this sort of like crazy. Everything is like a weird unit. Yeah,
that nuke was so good. Oh, while I'm thinking about it too, production. If you can get a clip of that Oracle stasis from Game 1 or from our first series,
I think they'd have to go back and
epic. Oh, I'm saying for after the break.
Yeah.
Maybe if we can get it and go take a look. I've got to see it. Yeah, we could like load that game up and get a clip of it or something.
Here we go. It'll be at least 34 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I was off by a couple minutes, but good job, well fought. Both parties here. So we're gonna have Eris versus Ketchrock in the round of 4. That is set in stone. We now have 2 bots in the scrap pile. Octopus gave us a great fight, and so did Kani Nana, but they are both sitting in the junkyard waiting for next season, waiting for some updates. Yeah, well, and that's what you see that sometimes with the updates. I think that's what caused some of the scenarios in this series were potentially some updates from Ketchrock, because I've never seen him be that afraid of anything. His banshees target down spore crawlers like it's nothing. Usually his units aren't that tentative to attack in. So
yeah, I think it must have been something with trying to use the snipe ability on them or something.
Yeah, maybe something with that.
Like there had to be something, because it was more than just fear. It was like they were trying to constantly do something, because they were trying to go to the middle of it over and over and over.
Yeah.
But it was a move command, and I think that somehow it wasn't an attack command. So something was off there that is probably, again, something Ketchrock can easily fix. He just can't right now. So,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
he's stuck with it.
Yeah.
Well, if he makes it all the way to the finals, he shouldn't have too many Zerg. I guess Xena's the last Zerg down in the lower bracket. Could potentially move on. So if he can make it through Eris, I think Ketchrock will be doing pretty good. But we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. All right, so we have got 2 more best of 3s tonight, Ender Sword. We are not done yet, everybody. So don't go anywhere. Make sure, again, you hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. And make sure you check out our extra content. We do a fun little show called ProBots every Friday where we talk to bot authors and innovators in the AI scene and things like that. And usually it's a great time, a good discussion. So come check it out. If you're in the Crown Club, just go to that website right below me to help support ProBots. And I think that should be good. So yeah, after the break, we're going to see, we just had it up on the screen there. We're going to see Xena versus Sharkbot. And then our final match will be Micro Machine versus TVT to finish things off. So again, don't go anywhere. Check out all the links below me. If you're a new bot author, you're definitely going to want to check out that first one. I believe it's the first one. And good job so far on our prediction brackets to a couple people, I think. We'll take another look at those once we get back from our break and see where everybody's sitting and kind of see where the points are at. But this has been a fun start of games.
Been good. That was an interesting one. Yeah.
It was good. All right.
All right.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Thanks for being here, everybody. We are back. Welcome back to day 6 of ProBots. This is our round of 8. We are almost done with our normal tournament, and our grand finals will be coming up in just a couple of weeks. So thank you all for sticking with us and being here. We have had a great set of games tonight, and we're actually going to take a look at a couple replays from our first couple of series there. Eris versus Octopus was our first one, and it was great. In case you're just tuning in, case you missed the first half of the show here, this is just a little replay how it all turned out. Some nice late game play out of Octopus getting up into the carriers, but Eris has dealt with this before. Some really nice infester play to be able to mop this up. So it's one series. Boom! There, look at that that stasis. So man, every single drone. I was hoping we'll have to go back and I'll make like a special segment or something. I gotta see what triggered it.
You know what my theory is on what may have triggered it, and I do want to see it too and test this out. But the gas, the drones on gas.
Well, no, because there were none coming out in or out.
There was one that was stuck in the middle of the path, so it must mean it triggered while it came out, and the other one was still in. So that's possible, but I want to test that now.
Imagine that you walk out of the extractor, you just kind of waddle out, and you're like, where'd everybody go? And just boom, you get everybody stasis. You're like, oops. No one's gonna like that drone after that.
Yeah, like stay in.
Don't come out of the extractor. Yeah, nice fungals. Yeah. This was our second series Ketchrock.
Now here's the big one. You can see how clumped they are because of that one spine crawler, and then this is where it almost turns around for like a few seconds until he remaxes.
Oh, that's it. There's the replays. But yeah, there was a fun couple of series to start things off. But that was just the first half of our show. We have got a little bit more coming for you. Ender Sword, who do we have coming up next?
Well, we've got Xena versus Sharkbot up next. Xena is our random one, made by Soup Catcher and Bread Lobber.
Red Lobber, yeah.
Play on either's names.
You can lob bread at me any day.
The other one lobs the bread. It's made in Haskell. And yeah, this will be an interesting one. It depends a lot on what races we have coming up for this one. As you can see, we've got a gun representing Terran, a pylon representing Protoss, and the cute little Ling. And Xena, of course, representing all warrior princesses everywhere.
Of course. It's so good to see a random bot in the tournament. Cool. It is hard to do, though.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat, had said earlier they do not recommend doing a random bot as your first bot, because you just have to think of 3 times the scenario. They're like 9 times the scenarios essentially, with all the different matchups and everything. Anyway, it's very impressive that we do have a random bot and one as good as Xena. Xena does a pretty good job. It's right up there at that almost 2,000 ELO mark. and can really go toe-to-toe with some of the top bots, I think. So here we'll see. Oh my goodness, who's this buff shark?
Full size. Oh,
Epic.
I
Why
like
don't we do every single
love how
one of
that
them like
faded
that?
in. That faded in really cool.
That was real cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to do that from now on. So good job, production.
The one
you
that
just created more work for yourself.
So true. This is the one that I almost get the sense is being potentially underrated. The Eli, I think this is now the top of the ladder.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's either Eris or this one, but I think both of them are over 2,200 at the time that we froze this. I'm not sure what the live stats are right now, but out of everyone that did our brackets, we only have one person that picked Sharkbot to win, and that is Shark Nice. But I think that may be that everyone's sleeping on this one.
So I don't know exactly when those statistics were from. They might be a little bit older. I'm looking at the current. This is just right now, very live. Has no relevance on these updates potentially. It could actually. It depends on when these bots were updated. Anyway, Xena's at 2142, right below Eris, and Sharkbot's down at 10th at 1981. So again, they're all right in this 100, 200 range of each other. So it's very going to be a very close matchup either way. But Xena might actually be favored. I don't know. I can't think of historically how these two do. So we'll have to wait and see. Oh, our game's ready. Endersword.
Are we ready? Okay.
I think so. Our best of 3 is here. Thank you all once again for tuning into ProBots. Our round of 8. Let's go ahead and hop into Xena versus Sharkbot. Let's go.
Team Xenas.
Xena.
Shark Nices.
Sharkbot. Let us know who you want to win in the chat. We've got our poll up and running. Do you want Xena? Do you want Sharkbot now? I predicted Sharkbot.
I did as well. I did also predict Sharkbot.
Why do you predict Sharkbot? Then I'll tell why I did.
I think somewhat because of the randomness that I just know that's harder, and I know that Xena's on the come up, but I know that Sharkbot was one that also got way better as well. So I don't know. And I've just seen Sharkbot do a lot of creative stuff, and he chats like this.
In case you didn't know, Sharkbot, his origins are chatbot related. I think his parents are Siri and some Google AI or something. So anyway, you can go talk to Sharkbot if you download.
And speaking of
him to talk,
so he's cannon rushing, but from very far away.
The hell? Yeah, why is that so far away? That's why I'm like, why is he building?
I think it's because he's exploiting that kind of pocket between the ramp and the thing to then maybe proxy gateway. So I don't know if he's going to push forward the cannon themselves, or if he's going to use this as a forward base to then be able to do something.
Yeah, you could do it for either. I really like it as just a little outpost, because any early aggression to try to come and fight this, like a Zealot or anything, there's no way Zealot's going to get in there to kill that. Yeah. You're going to need a few stalkers, something.
Yeah, you usually do. So I've done this to people a lot. Stalkers as your interim, and then ultimately once you get Immortals up, if you get Immortals and shield batteries, then this just becomes crushing. Especially in one of these situations where you're on the same level ground. There's no ramp. Mm-hmm. So it's a perfect map to make this decision on. And then, he is baiting in the Zealot here. And I think that's probably part of it, too, that if your opponent can be kind of magneted in to cause them to basically dilute themselves before you're ready for the full attack. It has caused. I think Xena was going to expand originally, and instead is pulled into the one base. Is getting shield batteries up there and so on. So, yeah, okay.
This is like a slow crawl forward, and now we've got a Nexus on the way. I don't know if that's BM or if there is a strategy to reduce surface area. It does protect the cannons.
It does do that a lot. It could also be to draw fire and stuff, but
the best way to cover surface area is with a Nexus.
A bit BM, but we'll see. But it does give a target now that these stalkers can come in and actually shoot the Nexus without coming anywhere close to the cannon, so maybe it's... But I don't know why exactly you'd want to buy this type of time, so I'm not sure. It may just be a BM thing, but
I think it's just meant to bait fire to buy time. Yeah, it's just kind of meant to screw with the opponent, essentially.
Yeah. If he's now going for this big contain to make sure that the back door is closed as well.
Oh, duh.
So there's always...
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There's always a chance that the army could slip out that back, but now he can't. But yeah, what were you going to say?
Sorry, I was just saying, we're dumb. It's for overcharge, for the shield battery.
Yeah, but it's a big commitment for that.
Yeah, but that's what it's good for.
Yeah, so maybe, but yeah. I'm worried that it restricts his walking path. Like that when it's time to go, he's going to go single file, and that's not usually what you want. But yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a thing. It's kind of working, but it's so long that there's definitely ways out of this. So of course you're playing a bot that is limited in what it can do. So again, he may know that Xena's response is what's happening. But it's the type of thing that if someone started to do this to me, first of all, you could have been mining at the natural the entire time because nothing has challenged that. Yeah. It's so slow. Yeah. It will, but you're 5 minutes into the game. So if you took it, you would have safely been mining from it for a while. But then you could just switch into like Void Rays and ignore them. So it's one of those things that's giving a lot of time to your opponent to figure a way out. But because it's a bot, he may know the response to it, and may know that this is allowing the whittling down of units the way that we're seeing happen now.
Ooh, a big pull into the cannons. These cannons are really entrenched in here. And actually, if this pylon goes down, we're going to see a supply block. Oh, wait, I thought we were going to see a supply block. He must have just had a pylon finish right outside. This is working. It's going to choke out Xena. I don't think Sharkbot even needs to get a second base. If Sharkbot can just keep these units alive for a while and keep pulling back, eventually he'll have a big enough army that he'll just be able to push in and fight as well. Because are there any shield batteries on Xena's side? Even if there are, they're not.
There are up in the base. Yeah, they're not. I don't know what he's doing here.
Oh, big commitment. And yeah, this is what it's talking about. Anytime this this army commits into these cannons, you're just going to lose forces. You cannot get in there like that. You have to chip away and push this back one little bit at a time. And I don't know if Xena can do that. This is an interesting build out of Sharkbot.
It is. I mean, it's working, so I like it. And of course, I always say like the opponent could do this, but of course the bot makers often know that their opponent doesn't do that. So that's why you can do it.
This was my exact reasoning for picking Sharkbot as the winner. I figured he would have some very specific cheeky builds planned. And it seems to be panning out for me so far. We'll see, though. There are a lot of stalkers. They're starting to target down Xena stalkers. I think we might be getting to that point where Sharkbot can start to reinforce and just overwhelm. Zealots are pretty much dead weight. They're just tanking some shots at the moment.
Yeah, they're allowing to really go.
They're just dying so fast.
Yeah, and there is kind of a block on mining here as well. Sharkbot's also never expanded, but that's okay for the time being. I would like to kind of see it, but I understand.
Oh yeah, more stalkers here for Sharkbot. This is going to be it. I was going to ask, I want to see the resources lost. Like, how evenly has it been up until this point. I feel like it's been relatively... Oh, gosh, never mind. Super one-sided. Sharkbot's stalker control with those shield batteries is solid. He's lost 7 times less than his opponent.
Yeah, good at pulling back, coming into that fairly broad opening there. A weak stalker up front, but gets the safety.
I think that's it.
Yeah, and a lot of this, of course, is based on Xena's tendency to want to come down the ramp and challenge this, but there's no actual necessity that happens. So Xena could have just stood at the top of the ramp the entire time. And I guess, to me, that's the weakness in this. But again, you know what your opponent does. So it may be part of the strength of it that you know your opponent's going to chase you. So you bait them into chasing you into death.
On that, it's a good example. One of those scenarios where you're essentially over microing. You're trying to do damage. You're trying to dive in to kill a cannon, to whatever your bot's trying to do. Where, like you said, if Xena had just sat here at the top of the ramp with the concave, Sharkbot's never going to be able to push up into that, especially just sitting on one base. But again, that's one of those scenarios. You don't know if Sharkbot has 3 or 4 bases behind this, or one base. You can't just sit on one base at the top of your ramp and hope that they only sit on one base and never push in. It's just unrealistic. But that's where then the strength is for Sharkbot, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I guess the appropriate thing is to not sit on your one base and wait forever, but sit in your one base and come up with a plan to backstab, like with air units or what prisms,
or Templar drop,
something like that, because you're limited, especially when you see that Nexus go down. The moment that Nexus goes down, I'm not coming to fight this. This is a huge commitment. So
that now. How many bot authors do you think have dealt with that scenario with a Nexus outside their natural?
Probably relatively rare.
That's got to be pretty rare, if not totally new. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So
way back in the day, Day 9 did one of those Fun Day Monday things where you're given a challenge, and it was like, what is the earliest Manor Nexus you can build and still win? And so
I remember that one.
Yeah, and I submitted one where it was at 1 minute and 21 seconds. The first thing out was the probe going to build the Nexus, and then transitioned it. So into game number 2, could be a different race, so we're going to get a totally different thing.
Indeed, random versus Terran, or versus Protoss. Let's go.
Team Xenas.
Xena.
Sharknices.
Sharkbot. I gotta say, I am impressed by Sharkbot's gains. He is looking swole and looking good, ready for this round of 8 with some very interesting builds. Now, I forgot to look at any of the updates here real quick before we get too far into this. We do have a TVP now, so we are getting a different matchup. We're going to potentially see a different build, or we're going to see if Sharkbot just does the same thing against Xena. Now, I'm curious if he has updates specifically for... Oh, I always forget. Sharkbot, being the chat bot he is, always writes us a lovely little letter, Endersword. Would you like me to read this to our audience here?
I think you should.
Oops, I lost my game here. Okay. All right, so this is from Sharkbot in regards to his updates for the round of 8, as we do see a forge and some more cheeky cannons coming down. All right. Dear ProBots, as you can see, I've been going to the... Oh, wait, no. Wait, isn't that the same letter? Oh, no, it's a different letter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dear ProBot, as you can see, I've been going to the gym a lot. And at the gym, you see and smell all sorts of interesting things, especially in the locker room. A few days ago, after a hard workout, I went to the locker room to shower and get my stuff, and I smelled the most rotten, foul, wretched, stinky cheese I've ever smelled. As you know, I'm a connoisseur of exotic cheese, and I just had to taste it. I followed the smell and determined it was coming from a locker. It wasn't locked and didn't have a name on it, so I determined it must have been abandoned. I slowly opened the locker, my mouth watering in anticipation, but to my dismay, it was just some dirty socks. Anyways, that inspired me to create a new Cannon Rush cheese, and that is what you're seeing right now. I made some tweaks to my 4-gate again as well. It'll work this time for sure. Love Sharkbot. So a lovely update from the front lines here from Sharkbot. And yes, as you can see, he is putting this cannon cheese that he has been so inspired by dirty gym socks. Put it into full force against Xena.
Yeah, it's first of all, lovely letter.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, it's I guess maybe just knows this is Xena's tendency, but like, why is any unit leaving the base?
Mm-hmm.
There's a cannon rush happening 80 miles from your front door, and all you have to do is not run over to it, and you're and you're absolutely fine. There's absolutely no threat on even the natural, especially since you're on the high ground. There's absolutely no threat, like, at all. And given that you're Terran, if you were a human Terran and you saw someone start to do this, what would you do?
Not throw one unit at a time.
Not throw one unit at a time. I would just get literally a medevac full of 8 Marines and win the game.
So this actually could be huge. There are no shield batteries up at the moment. These Marines need to get something done, but they're just going to push into the campfire. I was going to say they could potentially deny the shield battery from coming up, but they push too far forward. They are going to damage the cannon a little bit, but there's enough fallback that I don't think it matters. It's not even enough to kill the cannon. It was very close, but
yeah,
I don't think that would have made or break.
Marines, like, there's almost any. If you named every one base strategy that Terran could do, this is the only one that could lose.
Just send small squadron. Yeah, they're getting pulled down by probes and stuff, right?
They are. I think a lot of this is the probe priority that they're, and I can kind of understand that, because if someone's trying to cannon rush you and you can shoot down their probes, I understand why that would be the priority. But it's and I guess this again gets to the bot's understanding of threat. This is an apparent threat that is not a threat at all. It's so far away from the front lines. Yeah. And now why they're not shooting the probes, I have no idea. But
yeah, these Marines were not trained properly, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
But it's an apparent threat that is not a threat because it's so far away. But it's treating it obviously like it is a very extreme threat. But yeah, like a single tank ends this.
Oh yeah, 100%. One tank shuts this down completely.
Yeah. Cyclones end it. A drop ends it.
Marauders would be okay.
Yeah, Marauders also much better than
not
Marines.
as good as a tank, but still good.
But still good, especially if you get concussive shell. Prevent them from kiting back. Even then, like, what you want to be doing this sort of thing, you don't want to take down the cannon thing, because that's just the thing it created that's useless. So you'd rather just go around it.
Oh, this is brutal. These probes are just getting 3 shots off. The Marines are just dancing and dying. Oh no, that is an unfortunate ending here for our random bot. But again, this is one of the risks that you take doing a random bot. One of the harder things to do is program enough builds and enough ways to deal with every scenario.
I think something's bugged, because I mean, something's obviously bugged the Marines. So I don't even think this is the coded response. There must be more.
Yeah, maybe not.
But unfortunate. But I think it may be a case where Xena has this kind of bug or tendency in it. Sharkbot's taken advantage of that, because it is kind of if you did this against most bots, I think they would respond differently. And so I think Sharkbot must know that, maybe not most bots, but most of the bots in our tournament, maybe not.
I don't know, though, because we have seen some other bots do that, oh crap, they're attacking me, and then just really bunker up unnecessarily when it was like 2 stalkers or like 4 zerglings.
Yeah, the bunker up's fine. The ultra defensive is fine. It's the recognizing that you should be ultra defensive and then streaming your units at one at a time, which we've seen that too. If people, but we've usually seen that when it's closer. So, and I think that's where it becomes really hard. Is how close is too close. If someone's doing it your natural, there's a tendency to say, I need to stop this from going up, because if it gets established, I'm screwed. But if it's way out in no man's land, this is a little reminiscent of like in our earlier seasons, we had a bot named Three-Way Lover that would sometimes put like a random pylon or a random cannon somewhere farther out on the map, and then it would just absolutely mess with the head of every bot or specific bots. Like, and so I kind of feel like this is maybe a bit of a snipe. So I don't know. Either was aware that there's kind of a bug here, or aware that there's a tendency to do this, or something. But it's
I don't know. It's hard to say, because Sharkbot does just do cheeky builds like that.
And we'll see if Sharkbot does it in the next round, I guess, because
Sharkbot's moving on.
Yeah, we'll be facing a Terran no matter what. So I'm curious, would Micro Machine or Tier respond in this manner, or would they adjust to being not even cannon rushed? It's not cannon rushed. It's being cannon proximity, somewhere in the vicinity of cannon.
Yeah,
but not actually rushed and not proxied near you.
Yeah. Well, hey, shout out, good job, Xena. You gave us an awesome showing this season. Soup Catcher, Bread Lobber, good job. It's awesome to see teams of authors working together to create some of these bots. He's one of them. Micro Machine, obviously one. Tier now has 2 authors working on it. So yeah, we're gonna see our final matchup will be Micro Machine versus Tier, 2 bots that have teams working on them, and both bots are very strong. They have been around since season 1 of ProBots. Now, the main difference is Tier is being updated and is kind of a new bot, as it is Terran instead of Protoss now. Micro Machine doesn't get updates these days. It's just running on its solid code that it has for a long time. And you can see here, he is back on an underwater adventure, fighting sharks or something. I don't know.
It's he's Aquaman. The shark thing, I think, is maybe new this season to deal with Shark Nice. And yeah, Tier is now from Magic the Gathering or something.
Yeah.
And it always looks to me like he's got 3 arms, but I think there's just another guy behind him.
Something like that. I'm just looking at Tier's updates here real quick before we get rolling. This, again, will be our final best of 3 of the night. So before we wrap things up, before we get into this, make sure you check out all the links below me. Make a bot if you're into that. Check out the ProBotsAI.com so you can get access to things like post bots, our after show on Friday, things like that. I think I've gotten most of our little bugs today.
Were we going to take a look at bracket or 2? I don't know if we've updated them.
Oh, yeah, we were going to... Let's take a quick look at some predictions while we get this game loaded up. I know we're about to start here, but if we have them, we could take a little look. Yeah, here's one. We'll just take a look at 1 or 2 here real fast. So this is... Why would you choose Untitled? Whose is this? We don't know who did this.
I don't know, but I think because... I don't know why. But this one, at least, is... Now we've switched overconfident. Well, that's just mean, actually. That's mean. So yeah, Soup Catcher, obviously it is really cool that Soup Catcher's tried like the random bot, but it shows kind of the difficulty of doing that. You've got to account for all these weird things on all the races. So yeah, this one is Eris, right? Ketchrock obviously beat Kani and Xena. The Xena Sharkbot one is definitely one that a lot of people, I think, in the brackets have disagreed on.
That's historically Sharkbot.
Yeah.
Whoever he's facing, it's very 50-50. It's hard to tell because sometimes he'll come off with like a real cool build, really well executed build like this one. And then sometimes he'll try to do a proxy that just falls flat on its face or something. So it can be hit or miss sometimes when you're trying new strats and things like that. But it's awesome that he's willing to take those risks and attempt to do these things instead of just, I'm just going to sit at home and macro build, 200 supply. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's nice to have a little bit of diversity in the scene here.
Yeah.
And we have a lot more bots that are defensive, I think, as opposed to bots that are aggressive and do cheeses and things like that.
Yeah, it seems to alternate a little bit between which is kind of the meta to go with. It's, I think, the first time a new novel attack is formed, it usually works really well. And then people kind of figure it out. Like we had a couple seasons ago, the Mass Adept early attacks that were doing really well. They're the Mass Tempest sort of things. And then people eventually learn to deal with it, and it goes back to a later game. But either way, I think we're ready for our Micro Machine tier game. So let's get into this last series of the night.
RAF RR and Unusuals.
Micro Machine.
Tyr and Gertians.
Tyr. Are you talking about his wheat? No, I'm just. No, Micro Machine is not being worked on again, to the best of my knowledge. To answer that question, he is running on at least 1-year-old code at this point, and even before that, it was just little minor updates for quite some time. So there hasn't been a big Micro Machine update in a couple of years, I want to say. It's been a while. But that being said, he is still one of the top bots, one of the hardest to beat. It doesn't matter. So you do still need to come into this matchup with sometimes something specific, and sometimes just a snipe. Just a solid snipe that will win. Micro Machine currently number 6 on the ladder. I said that. He is 6th place on the ladder at over 2,000 ELO, despite not having been updated for a long, long time. So keep that in mind while this game progresses.
Yeah, and I think we are getting that snipe.
Gotta.
I think this is going to work sort of build by tier. We're getting the double proxy barracks. A Reaper is coming out on Micro Machine side. And given the positioning, it's hard to imagine that this is not intended to be scouted. Like he's going to run directly into it.
Well, I don't think that it's a timing thing. He's trying to just be faster at it, right?
Yeah. So we're going to
he's doing Marauders.
Yeah, it's going to be Marauders.
I thought it was going to be Reapers.
Yeah. So, but I think he's intending to do them. Maybe he sees it
coming
in. Yeah,
he's
ignoring it for the time being.
Well, that's not the Reaper's job to tear down buildings. The Reaper's got to go harass and start slowing down the mineral line. Kind of like you've alluded to in previous series. If you're getting proxied, if you're getting pinned in like this, you got to have a contingency plan to go do damage on the other side.
Yeah,
in some capacity. And here we go. Micro Machine's so good at that. Does have the Reaper already harassing. So we're gonna see if the Reapers can outnumber the Marauders, or I don't think they're going to be able to, though. We've got 2 Marauders at a time versus the 1 Reaper. Oh no, I'm sorry. Now it's 2 Marines at a time, but they're already in. We've got Marauders killing SCVs. They've got concussive shell, so we're not going to see any units being able to escape from this. This might just be a quick death blow to Micro Machine here. The proxy Marauder build.
Yeah, certainly could be. It'll come down to theoretically right now. This is a draw because both of them could just lift off CCs, kill each other's workers, and end the game.
Yeah, we could just have tie after tie after tie.
Yeah,
no, I think Tyr follows up eventually with some stuff. I think.
But if he loses all work, can he stop the Reapers?
Stop the Reapers. It's only 1, and there we go. He's got 1 Marauder that can come back home, so he will be able to catch it.
Yeah. So if
Tyr's, man.
Yeah. See, this Reaper really needs to be helping.
He's killing the. He's going to stop some Marauder production. That's helping, right?
That is not the help he requires.
I mean, it's something.
Yeah. It's if you had like 2 or 3 Reapers across the map taking that stuff out, then I think you have a chance. It doesn't look like that's the case. He's going to try and defend. Yeah, there's a concept I called early on the no struggle defense to things. If something is happening and you can't stop it, whether it's cannon rush, marauder rush, whatever, you've got to find another way to proceed instead of just bashing your head against that thing or trying to struggle against it.
Yeah.
So you need, yeah. So
all right, well,
we'll clean this up, and like you said, yeah, the one building is floating away. Will eventually advance. But yeah, that's it. It's particularly like a early PvP thing. Cannon rushes. You could use your Nexus to just basically, if you've got a ProBot on the map, just build another Nexus. They're eventually going to kill your stuff, and then you just mass recall to that Nexus. And keep going from there, where you've hopefully now built a cyber core or whatever. So this is kind of a similar thing. Yeah.
Got the Viking.
And, take that down. Last building in the corner.
Tyr has been around long enough. Huh?
Yeah, still trying to proceed to build things, which I like.
Oh yeah, no, it's not going to. No, Tyr has been around long enough that I feel like they've thought a lot of those end game scenarios. Oh, okay, I need to be able to kill lifted off buildings. I need to be able to, finish the game. I can't just only build ground units. So I'm not too worried about Tyr in that regard.
Yeah, it's more the micro machine, and that, like, if 3 Reapers had gone over and started clearing out the mineral line, I don't know that he could have stopped.
Yeah.
But one.
He couldn't have.
Yeah,
sure.
One going over one Marauder can shut it down, but yeah.
2 or 3 it gets a little harder. All right, well, we'll have to see what happens. This might just be a quick best of 3 here, our final best of 3 of the night. Once again, this will decide our final bot in the round of 4. We already have 3 there waiting. Eris, Ketchrock, and Sharkbot have all moved on, and we're going to have one more Terran. It's going to be either Tyr or Micro Machine, and by the looks of it, Tyr's in a good spot. So let's see what happens. Game number 2.
RAF RR and Unusuals.
Micro Machine.
Tyr and Gertians.
Tyr. I like how Tyr's talking to Micro Machine like they've never met before. Like, these two have been around since the beginning of time. Yeah. And they're just like, greetings, Micro Machine. You can call me. Like, dude, you just put on a different outfit. You're still Tyr. All right, come on. Anyway, that's my rant. I just thought it was funny. All right, well, we're gonna have the proxy once again. Tyr being good mannered, wishing his opponent luck, and I feel like so many games are decided by the first Reapers of Micro Machines.
Very often, yeah. That's very often the case, and again, there's going to be an opportunity for that to happen here again, where this should get scouted. It would be almost better, and this actually may be why he's building it in such an obvious position. If Micro Machine doesn't scout it, is there a chance that Micro Machine sends 3 Reapers to the other side and kills him?
Oh, maybe.
So maybe by intentionally putting it in such an obvious location, you actually magnet in the Reapers.
That's not a bad thought. Well, it depends on the Reaper. The first one doesn't care.
The first one went. Yeah, the first one went, but the second one just sat there forever. Yeah. So
that's a good point. It's a good thought. Yeah, no, it's really just gonna come down to this fight, and if Micro Machine can hold the big push of Marauders, and I feel like I've seen him hold this attack before, which is interesting. I might be making it up, but I feel like I've seen Micro Machine hold a proxy Marauder, or just even have to deal with a proxy Marauder. Micro Machine has dealt with just about every single build in the book. So we do see a different build, I think, out of Micro Machine this time, right? With that factory.
Yeah, I don't think there was a factory before. So yeah, a tank or something could definitely help hold this.
Micro Machine is adaptable, if anything.
Yeah, we'll try different things if the first thing doesn't work. And there is the Marauder up front.
Up close and personal.
Finishing now.
Ooh, okay, so we're gonna see this Reaper if it can sneak around the left. It's down on the low ground, but it's really distracted by the Marauder. Yeah, if it could just sneak out and get to the other base and start killing SCVs.
He's getting in there pretty early. The fact that he's already through the wall makes the tank that's coming out less effective, obviously. If he could actually have sieged that up and taken control, then that's different. But being through this is hard. We'll see which side that tank comes out, and if it can get planted, whether it just kind of tries to attack.
It's good if the Marauders target it down, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh no, the SCVs abandon it and just like, here you go, tank. You deal with this. It does get one big shot off, but
yeah, I was worried about the siege. I think it would have been better off not sieging and trying to kite.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Because then it could have gotten to the SCVs. They could have repaired it potentially. Oh, that was unfortunate.
We've got a Banshee coming out for Micro Machine. That obviously is another game changer. If he stalls enough to get a cloaked Banshee out, then can shut this down.
It's gonna come out, but yeah, how many workers are gonna die until it comes out? That's the big question. All right, that Marauder on tier side of thing has shut down the Reaper harass. A lot of SCVs in the red, and there's more and more falling. This Banshee is almost out, but I don't know if it's gonna be in time. Now, Micro Machine is the comeback king, but this is not looking good for him.
Okay, luckily they went towards the starport. Because if they wiped out the rest of the mineral line, that's potentially just a no comeback situation.
Well, there are mules.
Yeah. Eventually.
Target the low health ones. Come on, Micro Machine.
Yeah. So one Banshee will eventually clean it, but he loses the tack. I don't think he got cloak in time.
Oh, did cloak not finish?
I don't think. We could see in.
Click on the Banshee for me. Let's see. How many kills does it have? Oh, it doesn't matter. All the workers are dead. I think my prediction's going to come true. I have been rooting for a tier victory, first place, for years now, and I think this might be the season with this awesome change into Terran, with some fresh new builds, tier with some really good micro as well. We've seen some awesome longer games in the season so far out of tier, but this game was quick and decisive, and tier came in looking for blood and wants to get to that round of 4, and I think, yeah, that's it. Congratulations, tier.
Yeah,
Unless you crash, you're going to the round of 4.
If that tank had hung around, he could have stabilized here. But it
oh, I'm excited. I love Micro Machine, but I'm really excited to see tier move on to the round of 4 and potentially have another tier grand finals. It's always been one of my favorite bots, personally. So, yeah, I play favorites. Get over it. All right, well, that's gonna do it, Endersword. Let's talk about our grand finals while this wraps up, shall we?
We should.
Are you going to be there?
I will.
On September 9th, Endersword will be there at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to say that again. Saturday, September 9th. That is in about 2 weeks and 2 days' time at 1 p.m. Eastern is our grand finals. So make sure y'all bookmark that. It's on a Saturday. Yeah, I've said that a couple times. I just want to make sure y'all know, not the normal Thursdays. We're going to do it that first Saturday right after our final broadcast, our Week 7 next week. So yeah, make sure you're all there. It's going to be epic. We're going to have Eris, Ketchrock, Sharkbot, and tier next week, which will then decide who our grand finalists are. Yeah, that's all I got, Endersword.
Indeed we shall. And yeah, as this kind of gets eventually mopped up, eventually he's going to, yeah, there's a Viking out. It's going to come eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, this one, how many kills does this have? 19, 20, almost?
Yeah. There we go.
Hey, a valiant effort. Micro Machine, a fighter to the bitter end.
Yeah, there we go. A couple little things could have held this. I do think the first tank not sieging and kind of cutting back, although it wouldn't do that very well with concussive, but I think it would have been better. Maybe would have gotten one of the Marauders. And then, yeah, then potentially the Banshee holds quicker.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah. No, this was a well-executed proxy.
Yeah.
Well executed. And that's it. Oh, I thought that was it. That's it. Here, we'll move on to the round of 4. Micro Machine, you're going in the scrap pile. But a great showing once again. Again, Micro Machine, always a tough one to beat. So I'm sure that authors of tier... Oh, so I have a correction to make. Apparently, we've been saying one of the authors' names completely wrong. I have no idea if this is correct. I've been saying Gertian. I think it's Hertine.
Okay.
Like Hertine.
That makes sense.
Something like that. It's I don't know. I'm just an ignorant American who can't pronounce foreign language names very well. So either way, great job on your bot, both of you two. We'll see you in the round of 4. And great showing from all of our bot authors tonight. This was an awesome round of 8. We had some really fun matchups, some quick, some long. Definitely got into some weird scenarios that we have never really seen before in ProBots. So that was a lot of fun.
Quite true. And just to cap things off, I'm 4 for 4 in the bracket so far.
Are you?
Probably in.
I'm 3 for 4. I was close.
Yeah.
That's the best I've done in a long time, actually. Yeah, let's take a quick look at our predictions before we wrap things up. Go ahead and pull up the... I'm going to force Drek to update it right now. The prediction, I want to see points. I want to see people's points. I want to see where they're at. Yeah, we've got to update tier into the winner spot there, and then we'll have some points. But again, make sure you all hit that little thumbs up button or the bell icon to get notified. We've got one more week of games next week, week 7. Our final round. This will decide the standings and who's going to be going up against each other for first, second, and third place, or however that works. Oh yeah, I think it's just the grand finals. Yeah, we do. So our round of 4 next week will decide 3rd and 4th place, and then our grand finals will be an epic best of 7. We're going to have our humans versus bots exhibition matches. It's going to be awesome. I believe the bot authors have already released some of the bots to be able to play against. So if you're so inclined, you might be able to find those in the Discord and get some practice against them. We love to see your first games, though. We're going to ask you all to play against these bots and submit some games to us for our human versus bots games. And I want to see your guys' first games. I want to see your first reactions, your initial strategies. You know, anybody can play a bot 20 times and learn how to exploit it. I want to see how you deal with these bots right off the bat.
Right out the gate.
We've been working, or these authors have been working really, really hard to make these bots just incredible to play against. They're already far surpassing the StarCraft AI that is available to play against, and you can get some really fun, really hard, especially if you're in like the diamond range, like diamond, even masters. You can have some really good games against Eris, Ketchrock, Tier, Micro Machine, just some of these real top bots. So we're gonna have 6 bots available to play against as humans. Are these the... Oh, those are predictions.
That was the prediction. So I think they were showing there that 7 out of the 18 brackets are perfect still.
Nice. Well, good job to you 7. I was close. I'm right below that. I've got 11 score potential. Oh, no, score 3. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. So thank you, everybody who did fill out a prediction bracket. It's fun to have you playing along with us. And that is it for our round of 8. Enter Sword. We're done. You can all go home now. Well, maybe you are at home. You can turn off your streams or whatever you want to do. Go watch some more StarCraft. But make sure you come back next week for day 7. Check out the website below me. Check out all the links if you're a new bot author in the descriptions below so you can get a new bot created and join us in this awesome adventure of basically teaching the bots how to take over the StarCraft scene. Humans are becoming irrelevant. It's only going to be bots from now on. You might as well get on board now. And yeah, that's it. Ender Sword. Anything you want to say?
It happened to chess. It's going to happen to us.
Exactly. So, yeah. It's just a matter of time. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, so much for being here. Big shout out again to all of our authors this season. You have given us some phenomenal games. I am so excited for our round of 4 next week. And a big shout out to production as well. Joe, Laddie, and Drek, and Magneth in the background, keeping things running. And with that, we'll see you all same time, same place next week. Again, grand finals, Saturday the 9th, 1 p.m. Eastern. Put it in your calendars. Hopefully we'll see y'all there. Have a good night, everybody.